Napoleon won't take long.
He always was a little short.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the cartoon commentary for Arise, Serpentor, Arise Part 2. We got one Honcho tagging out, the man who wrote the damn thing, and another Honcho tagging in. It's Mark Weber, the man responsible for G.I. Joe, former brand manager. I mean, real American hero, classified, even the 60s, 12-inch dolls.
Me. Yeah, I would say
thank you for your service, Mark.
Right, I appreciate that. I think you left out the word briefly, but other than that, yeah, pretty much dead on.
Hey, if it's on a resume, it's permanent, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for being here.
I was once half of the crew, so that's a lot of work to carry. Big shoulders.
And we've got the, not the Crimson Twins here. What color are the Irizarry brothers?
Pinstripe.
The Pinstripe Twins.
There you go.
Mike and Rob, Racktime Rob are joining us too. We don't have the entire What's on Joe Mind crew here, but that's okay. I'm not a completist here on this channel. We are missing Joe Colton, but a shout out to her. But thank you guys for joining for part 2 of Arise, Serpentor Arise. An all-week-long event here on the channel, after school, after work event.
Anytime.
And we are queued up at 0 on Hasbro's YouTube channel for part 2. Here's your countdown. It's going to be 3, 2, 1, play. When I say play, at the exact same time you're hearing play, you're pressing play. 3, 2, 1, play. The US flag.
Didn't have it.
No.
Buzz did.
Do now. Didn't
Wait a second. You didn't have it. Didn't you design it?
No. I looked at that. That was the first thing I saw in the catalog ever where I went, well, that'll never happen.
7.5 feet. I believe that was as long as my bed. So I was like, well, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
Buzz actually had a great idea. Buzz had a great idea with it. I don't want to turn this into a Buzz Dixon recap because you guys have a lot to share too. But his idea was, why didn't that thing open and hold your G.I. Joe toys?
Because then they would have had to sell the rest of the table.
That's true.
It's actually, if you've handled one, it's kind of flimsy on the bottom, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But hopefully it has HasLab flag. Have we missed the part of Footloose? Yeah.
No, that's last season's open.
That's last season, yeah.
This season we get to see Bazooka shoot the bat with his rocket launcher, and that's the only thing he does the entire year.
Okay.
He was tired.
Yeah.
And here's the recap for Mark, since unfortunately you didn't get to see the first part of these episodes when you were a kid. What a brutal way to be watching these final 10 minutes and then find out what you missed the next day.
I would be first off the bus and fly home from the bus stop, up the hill, in there, turn on the TV, and I'd get the last 10 minutes. No VCR in the Weber house, so it was brutal.
How do you guys feel about Serpentor being introduced, usurping Cobra Commander as the leader, and also Sergeant Slaughter being introduced? Basically 2 Marvel superheroes being introduced in this military versus terrorist storyline.
I had less problems with Serpentor, particularly in the comic, than Sergeant Slaughter's. Sergeant Slaughter on the cartoon was a little bit too Marvel superhero, as we'll see in a second.
Right.
Oh, the punching through the wall?
Yeah, the stone wall.
But his hat came off.
Yeah, even though it's a wooden cabin, there's a stone wall in there.
But he's human. His hat came off. Sergeant Slaughter with a grenade is so...
What's more, it's a tear gas grenade. So if he had actually thrown that into the bog, it wouldn't have done anything. It just would have released all that gas into the water where it would have just been there. So I get, provided the Dreadnoks didn't stop and drink it.
And the stone wall. Now I'll never be able to not see that.
Stone wall in the matchstick cabin.
As the kids today would say, he's a little OP. Right?
Yeah,
OP is.
A little OP.
Punching through a log wouldn't have had the same effect.
Or a rotted 2x4.
I like that Ripper wasn't wearing a necklace. It just looked like a tattoo of gold on his chest.
He glued them on.
It's pretty hardcore for 85.
Wild Bill working on the computer there. I got myself a screwdriver.
Right. We don't have no mainframe yet. Wild Bill, fix the computer.
I'm defragging
Oh wait,
it.
Mainframe should be around, right? I saw Beaver.
86. Yeah, he
Mainframe's
was in the
in this
last
episode.
episode.
Man, if you're Mainframe and they're calling in Wild Bill for ID,
This episode's kind of fun in that we see Wild Bill do everything except fly a helicopter. as you'll catch later on, we'll see some more of that.
It's so great to finally see Hawk. For people who remember the toy from '82, especially people who read the comic, Hawk was Duke in the comic. I wasn't that familiar with Hawk. He was just basically Grand Slam to me, like a totally forgotten character, but it must have been kind of hard to adjust to a brunette Hawk.
Yeah, it was. I really were just happy to see him.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I can see why they did it, right? Because facially,
What is it with
Duke? Yeah.
What is it with Marines missing their hats in this episode? Gung Ho doesn't have his hat. Sarge just lost his hat. Are we going to see Mainframe without his helmet?
maybe all they had was an army hat for Gung Ho, so he refused to wear it.
Oh.
Let me just
Sad.
throw in here too that the mayor of Paris is one of my favorite one-shot characters. He is sorry directly over the top.
That's the kind of guy that fans would ask for at conventions, right? I polled him at one JoeCon and said, if you could have one figure, one that we haven't made yet, who would it be? And I'd get answers like Honda Lou. And
I was about to say
The
two-pack.
Viper.
the mayor of Paris, and the Vindo Viper. And I'm like,
Really?
not hardball or fast draw or
Yeah. Not
interrogator.
Sparks, Big Lob, yeah. Pysona.
Mayor of Paris.
That's what happens when you talk to the audience.
Right. Ugh, that never works.
I think we'll be seeing a Super 7 reaction, Mayor of.
There was Flash 2.0.
I'm just, you got to throw that crack in there when you run a weekly podcast where there's a talk to the audience segment.
Dusty in a desert. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, what's up with that? Normally they throw him in the jungle.
Yeah.
Shouldn't he
Or
be,
the Arctic.
shouldn't he be with Shipwreck?
I always felt like Duke was a favorite of mine, and in this season he's been demoted a little bit. Hawk's in charge, and Flint's got a cooler mission here. They sent Duke off to the Arctic.
Right.
Like,
Go hang out with the Russians.
If this was wrestling, he'd be wearing baby blue, and he'd be wrestling in the opening match.
Still better in the second match.
Yeah, that's true.
Pulling the curtain, still better in the second match.
It's Sarana.
Gasp. I like how the entire platoon goes off.
Yeah, everybody.
Even the jet.
Even the jets, the helicopters. We can't just send the nameless guys on the recon sleds. Let's send the whole kit and caboodle.
Everything. Radio the flag. Get them to sail in that general direction.
Right. Very vague. I love the recording here. I love the effect. We get to play Mindbender's ridiculous voice for legitimate laughs, as everything's just a half second after Zorana encounters it.
I love Cross Country. Such a great character.
Was that the last time we ever saw Slipstream?
No.
He shows up in that great the dogfight with Raven.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, we get Slipstream a couple times, but
1986 was very 1986 character centric.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was still plenty of Flint and Lady J.
Yeah,
There was a little
Dusty
Duke,
right there.
yeah, a little bit of Duke and Scarlet. You caught a bunch of them in this episode because they have to do the handoff from the old characters to the new characters.
Yeah.
But after Arise, Serpentor Arise, we get again Duke and Scarlet a little, Flint and Lady J kind of a lot. There's a little bit of Alpine. There's a little bit of Snow Job. But there's really not a whole lot of characters that didn't premiere in 1986 in 1986.
the Cobras get a lot more play because there's a lot less of them. But yeah.
Right.
It's surprising that you mentioned that Sarge doesn't get that much screen time. He's got My Brother's Keeper, the Golden Fleece, or whatever that episode was called.
Right.
This 5-parter. Other than that, he's not really featured all that much. There's
the one with the fighting tournament too.
Ninja Holiday. That's a big one. Yeah. But I remembered him being in every episode, but no, he's actually just kind of a special attraction.
Yeah, he gets about a half dozen of them, and that's about all.
Nice to see the low crawl vehicle make an appearance to help boost sales.
Right.
Didn't work.
Even the Havocs are faster than it.
So they go from the Mobat to the Mauler to the Havoc. And I look at them on my shelf and I go, what?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a miscast, you know. I think the Havoc was really supposed to be the next step from the Slugger.
Oh, well, it looks like an Inhumanoids vehicle to me.
Kind of.
Fit better there.
It's like Future Slugger with laser cannons.
Like the Trapeur. Why did you name it Trapeur, Mark, while you were at Hasbro?
Which one?
The Trapeur, when you were working on Inhumanoids.
Oh, exactly. I like Inhumanoids, but that wasn't. We didn't get that in Oregon, so I didn't have a chance. We had very limited cartoons. So when I get to go to like the grandparents' house, we watch Battle of the Planets, and it was like the most amazing thing ever. We don't get this in Oregon.
The Stuns rolling out
with their flags intact. Each one of them.
What is strange?
Thousands of dollars.
Like a race car look to it.
There is.
Actually got a kind of a symmetry with the Ostrikers and their bendy antennas.
Half of this episode is the Joes talking on the radio.
The Cobra's gear gets blown up so often they just decided to make a car that split at the front, even if you shoot it or not, and just make it blow apart as if it's damaged.
Now take
Fool
note
them.
that part of Hawk's contingent is very clearly Roadblock. They gave him lines and everything.
I like that Hawk stood his ground against a Night Raven with a laser pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's Hawk.
Very Saving Private Ryan.
Here's our savior.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Super 7, make it happen. Unfinished business.
I mean, hey, if he was Flint, he'd have brought down that Night Raven with one shot.
He should come with a limo too, or whatever that car is.
It's a Renault.
A Renault.
It's one of those with 3 wheels.
There's Airtight's cameo, getting his butt handed to him by the twins.
Right.
As they steal the DNA of their countrymen.
I always love the twins stealing Napoleon's. Like, it's just so fitting. Them mocking him while they're stealing his DNA.
Well, I mean, they're Corsican, right? And so is Napoleon. So it's fitting that they show up. They make fun of Napoleon for not getting it done right, and make fun of Paris and get to blow up a good chunk of it. I mean, they're Napoleon 2.0 is what they are.
Yeah.
There's
Wild Bill.
There's Wild Bill.
And
only appearance today?
There we go.
Oh, he was in the
Outside of the
hovercraft.
screwdriver.
He was in the hovercraft back part though.
Yeah, he's got a screwdriver. He's in the Havoc. I mean, there's a helicopter overhead, and Wild Bill is in the river.
You got an armadillo that needs driving? Sci-fi, despite being bright. What the?
Yeah. As Hawk suddenly goes Lost Planet Airman here.
Wow.
And look who's on the plane.
What the?
That was very Megaforce.
I'm kissing my thumb right now. That was
right. I don't think I ever saw a Hawk with the goggles down. That threw me.
That's it.
Well, he took it to the next step with that figure that had a jetpack. He's like, you remember that one time?
Jet build.
But sci-fi, despite being bright neon green, one of the coolest Joes. He's kind of like low light, just a cool breeze.
It actually is a cool breeze, but
low light without the massive childhood trauma.
I'm gonna pour some out right here. Cool breeze.
Oh, poor dial tone.
I know. As he walks around with a stereo on his back.
Yeah.
Everybody's on the radio. There's dial tone. He's not.
I'm surprised Duke didn't get sent on that mission in his Arctic gear. I want you to wear your parka, Duke. You're going to the jungle.
What did they have against Iceberg since they were 86 centric? But no Iceberg in the Arctic, right?
Yeah. 86. Yeah, he should be there.
He shows up when they flash back, but then they drop him like mid-scene. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Cool to see Recondo leading the jungle mission.
Yeah, doing his thing.
He's a couple years into his service with G.I. Joe at this point.
Is that why Joe Colton didn't show tonight?
Probably.
Recondo.
Hates Recondo.
Probably.
Hates him.
Now, you want to talk about Roadblock covering some ground. Zorana covers some serious ground this episode. She was just in the desert. We're about to see her show up in the jungle too.
We're not supposed to, but we do.
She's got lines, man. So I got to think that they meant to have her there.
Yeah, but you know what? Those lines are like Torch's lips are moving. So whoever did the voice for Torch was out that day.
Peter Cullen as Xandar. You got Peter Cullen. What role do you give him? Let's give him Zartan's bit part, brother.
Right. The guy who fades away in the
This
back.
is it for Xandar.
We know this guy. He's dangerous.
Other than background scenery, this is it for Xandar.
Nothing to see here, Pete.
Well,
You just go back to Transformers.
He was busy on Transformers. No, wait, they killed him off.
Well, yeah, not this season. He was not busy on Transformers.
They killed off. Oh, well, he's also Ironhide. Oh.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh.
He's also airborne. Never mind.
Oh. I think he gets a cameo somewhere in here. I don't know.
I would have
Cool
loved
fight
to have
scene
been
here.
at that table where they're like, okay, the movie's coming out. We want to kill off the entire existing cast except Bumblebee.
And Jazz.
And we'll replace them with all guys that will be better, and kids will love it.
Well, they kept Jazz and they kept Cliff Jumper because Casey Kasem and Scatman Crothers were still under contract.
But then Scatman Crothers died.
Then Scatman
That's
died,
that's one way out of your contract.
and then they pissed off Casey Kasem with some racist BS
Yeah.
so much that he walked out anyway.
Wow. Are they dead yet?
That fire on the water is really going to
But yeah, that was basically, he Torch saying he was good, but it's Zorana's voice. You're like, okay.
Mhm.
It's a really
But now when we come back, who are we going to see?
Was it Zorana masquerading as Torch?
Well,
That's
I
kinda-
really
You
like
never know with her.
the visual in that scene though. I know we're making fun of stuff, but they've really got the
There's
Joseph
Zorana.
on this one.
Holy smokes.
They got him pinned down. They got flamethrower over him. Now they're shooting him in the water. I mean, they've really got the Joe's number in this thing.
I like that they panned all the Dreadnoks and they're just unloading into the pool except Ripper, who's just like, you guys got it.
Yeah.
Eh.
And he's the only one who actually came with a gun.
Monkey Wrench is really integrated well. He's just another Dreadnought already into episode 2.
This is
Should've
it for
sticking
Monkey
that
Wrench,
big
too,
fork
isn't it?
cannon into the water.
Oh no.
More or less. You catch little bits and pieces of Monkey Wrench. Basically, if there's an episode where Neil Ross is doing another character, you see Monkey Wrench.
And the 3 existing Dreadnoughts were so interchangeable, and they just stuck a 4th one in there. It's like, yep, he's exactly like they are. No difference.
I like when Rakondo and Flint swim with their beret and hat on.
Hey, I'm more impressed by Dialtone swimming with, a refrigerator on his back.
Yeah, but it comes to a point, right? So it probably is
All
water
four of these
dynamics.
guys, all 4 of these guys have easily movable headgear. And they all come out of the pool with it.
Toque. He's got a toque. Lowlight has a toque. He's got goggles that probably don't help underwater.
No, they're not watertight, I'm sure.
They never fog up on him.
That's why he's the best. That's why he's on G.I. Joe.
They need to sell these little DNA.
I'm
Right.
surprised that
Strike orders, basically.
I'm surprised we didn't get one back in the day because they did sell us Montezuma.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
Montezuma's skeleton.
That so should have been an accessory with Monkey Wrench. Actual individual grenades instead of just being on his chest. Oh,
Pretty
Oh,
lost.
man, Zartan. They hit him with the high-low.
I don't know how he didn't have one of those rotating grenade launchers instead of his weird
Yeah.
trident shooting gun.
Yeah.
yeah,
Bad gun.
exactly.
He's all about blowing stuff up. Let's let him blow stuff up.
So the fascinating thing to me about this 5-part series is they're introducing this new super leader of Cobra. You don't see him until like the final seconds of episode 4.
Yeah.
And then the only episode he's really in is the 5th episode. So it was a slow build, slow burn to Serpentor instead of him just right out of the gate. Here I am, guys, and I'm the new leader, and we're off to the races.
I think one of the cool things about this second season with Sunbow is that it kind of came at the expense of the Joes, but they told a really great story with Cobra.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like all of a sudden, Cobra Commander becomes a sympathetic villain.
That's kind of exactly what Buzz did with The Most Dangerous Man in the World. It's a great Cobra story about the origin of Cobra, and the Joe is just kind of her background noise. But that is the more interesting story, really. The Joes are good guys, but you know they're a military unit. There's not much drama there. They go, they do the job, they come home.
Sometimes they break their crotch. Oh, Beachhead shot right there. I would have thought they would have sent Lifeline with Beachhead, you know, just in case there was some sort of crotch accident in the field.
Well, I thought Lole would have been.
Nobody likes having Lifeline around on this card.
Well, no, I don't think he would have picked him on the playground.
There's Iceberg.
There's the Polar Troop.
Oh, did I miss Iceberg?
Yeah.
Iceberg is in the Arctic with Duke.
Blinking.
And now he's miscolored.
Yeah, and poor Duke. Even his beverage is frozen. What is with this snow job shivering? Oh, it's to put the Russians over.
Right.
Yeah, it's
jobbing out for the Russians.
Snow job of all people. Shivering.
He's off the shelves.
And those the cannon fodder is on the way. Battle android troopers. Cool to see the October Guard pop up again. Help out.
Yeah. I still say that, you know, with 3 whole Polar Troopers on the team, they still couldn't get the third one in here.
I was just doing a video on the bat, and the file card, you know, the bio and stuff writes about how they're specifically cannon fodder. They're not deployed with troops because they'll shoot anything, including their own allies. So
they're there to soften them up or to, you know, cover their tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, they probably got created because somebody at Sunbow sent along a memo.
Yeah.
Hey, can you give us
Can
some
we shoot
guys who can
somebody?
shoot? We'd love to be able to shoot somebody.
This is like a Scooby-Doo episode. I almost got away with it.
And I'm thinking, well, she dressed like that to distract the Joes, but then
How did that lock on him?
exactly, and he can't slip his arm out.
Not his best moment, Mike.
That was impressive.
No, this appearance is not in Beachhead's. It's not on his reel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times over the course of this season where Beachhead is portrayed like a jerk, but he's also right.
Yeah.
Like he's the guy who's trying to talk sense, but he's
That's
not
like a drill sergeant.
Yeah, but they treat him like he's the jerk, but he's usually right. But in this one, he's just getting jobbed out to the Baroness.
Like a drill sergeant hurts feelings, right? But he makes great soldiers.
Right.
So what do you want to be, a great soldier or have nice feelings?
It's also kind of cool over the course of the season that anytime those two, Beachhead and Mainframe, have camera time together, which is not very often, but they seem to have an understanding.
Yeah, like, Ranger and the Marine, right?
Yeah, like everybody hates Beachhead, but Mainframe's cool with him.
Yeah, gets it.
Well, everyone hates the IT guy too, so
I guess.
Well, Bill?
I swear, Mainframe, if you tell me to turn it off and turn it on again one more time.
Right.
So that episode flew by, but what we took from it is that we can add it to the legend of superpowered Footloose. The IT guy, Wild Bill. You got a computer that needs fixing? I got my screwdriver ready.
I like Leatherneck.
Santa Flathead.
I like Leatherneck's lecturing a redhead on the Now You Know part. What are you doing lying in the sun, moron?
Yeah, you're lucky you didn't burst into flames.
God didn't make you to absorb that, you know?
Now you know, you idiot.
Now you look like a lobster on half of you, moron.
The kid's crying. Oh, I know.
You're not built for that.
I mean,
now you know.
If she was a real redheaded kid, though, she'd have just burst into flames long before Leatherneck got
Much, right?
The other girl would have turned her head to see the smoldering cinder.
No, she probably would have woken up and gone, I smell bacon. Yeah, you do.
Beachhead's just standing in the background with his arms crossed going, mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to warn him.
What'd I tell you?
But he shows up in a different PSA.
Which PSA does he do?
Him and Cross Country warn kids about something.
Beachhead does?
Yeah.
Racism, maybe?
Racism.
I mean, one's from Alabama and the other's from where?
It doesn't matter. He's wearing a Confederate
Tennessee,
belt
right?
buckle
It's got a Confederate belt
He's got a
buckle
Confederate belt buckle.
and a
and
Confederate.
hat.
And then the version 2 of the figure had it all on his back too.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And honestly, if they'd
Different
opened
time.
up his chest, it's probably all over the chest.
Tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Beachhead's probably, like his line in that one is, "Look, cross country, whatever you're saying, I'm sure it's great advice, but I can't be seen with you.
I'm gonna stand over there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better."
Yeah, you're bringing down my Q rating here. I'm not racist.
I
just
got a
hate,
career
I
to
hate
think.
everybody.
I'm trying to be a better man. Who ate my sandwich? Dag nabbit.
That's a bit of a Full Metal Jacket rep, right? Where he goes, I am not racist. I hate you all.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing about Beachhead, one of the new characters introduced in this 5-parter. It's kind of redundant. Like, they've got Sergeant Slaughter, who is the actual official drill instructor. And then they got Leatherneck, who is basically Sergeant Slaughter. And if there was no Sergeant Slaughter,
I think
Leatherneck would have been.
Leatherneck's secondary on his file card
training.
is drill instructor. Isn't
Drill
it?
instructor. And you got Beachhead, who is basically the drill instructor when the Sarge has a match or something, so
Or when,
So
he's
these are-
when he's supporting Iraq or anything like that.
So I don't get why these Joes were so sloppy in episode 1 before the Sarge showed up. Because what were Leatherneck and Beachhead doing before Sergeant Slaughter showed up?
I think that was something that the cartoon put on him in the movie.
Oh, okay.
If you go back to Beachhead's file card, I think he's the small arms armorer.
Okay.
Like he's the guy running the desk or something. He's not.
They just decided that Beachhead was a trainer in
Right.
the movie because Sergeant Slaughter was busy.
There's a thing on his card, where it says he wants people to be the best, so you can see him doing that.
Why? Surprisingly enough, here's a Beachhead file card.
Oh, you have Beachhead merchandise? That's a surprise.
Primary specialty infantry, secondary specialty small arms armor. Grade
He
E
keeps
six.
that in his wallet.
Right.
Okay, so no, I'm not entirely correct. Beachhead
I saw him pull it from his heart, taped to his
was
chest.
a main instructor at the Ranger School in Fort Benning, and observer advisor at Covert Ops School in Central America.
There you go.
So there is a teaching / training background in there.
Well,
Yeah.
you would think too that if Beachhead is as high up the command ladder in GI Joe as they made him on the cartoon, one of those guys probably has to be in charge of getting the new guys up to code. So maybe that was Beachhead's job.
So that was
to break stuff with wetsuit.
That was episode 2. You guys think that the Cobras are going to be successful in assembling their super ultimate emperor?
I have a hunch that they will pull it off.
Okay.
That's a
I
lot of
think-
science to get right.
Yeah.
Well, they got mind benders on the job.
He's a
Well, look,
orthodox.
they've already gotten a weather dominator and teleportation down. Cloning should be easy.
I suppose. But they gave it to the orthodontist to do, so
Yeah.
I also have a feeling that despite falling behind in the late innings, the Joes will rally up and save the day.
Yeah. Hopefully something goes wrong for the Cobras and they create a leader that is one less than perfect. Just an Achilles heel.
right.
Just to
They
even
capture
things
the
out.
DNA from Get Smart's Jaime the Robot.
Yeah. All right, gents, that was a blast. Thank you very much for joining me for the Arise, Serpentor, Arise 5-parter. I always loved that guy's voice who did the intros and the outros of these episodes because he was so intense, but so calm and tired sounding too. Tune in tomorrow.
Well, Jackson Beck was a radio narrator, like in the golden age of radio. He used to do like the intros and outros for the old Superman radio show and things like that.
Great
Well,
voice.
I think so.
Great
yeah.
cadence. Very commanding.
Yeah.
Good call, Mark, hiring him
Yeah, you know
during
what?
during your time as Honcho.
Yeah, I think overall I did a good job running GI Joe. There was that one guy I let go, but he
He
was on
deserved it.
better things.
You deserved it.
Yeah, the movie wasn't going anywhere. What do we need a brand manager for?
Eh.
Eh.
All right, everyone out there listening along, definitely check out What's on Joe Mind if you haven't already. Who am I kidding? Sure, of course, you check it out every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, and if you
And-
miss us live, by all means, still very happy with you if you catch the recording.
Replay, add a comment, give them a subscribe, give them a watch. Always a blast hanging out with you guys. Looking forward to doing some more.
Send money, send cookies.
Oh.
Send DNA? No, don't do that.
No,
Please, no.
No, this is the internet we're talking about. No.
That's fair.
If we had Joe Colton here, we'd have all 5 people to make a new Serpentor.
Ooh.
Well, you know, I'm not a completist, but in the case of Serpentor, they probably should have collected them all.
Right.
Yeah,
All the
good point.
ancient leaders, military
I would have
leaders.
loved if they were going after like Nixon's DNA or something. Comes out all jowly. Horrible.
Buzz actually mentioned that they decided to not go after anyone after, 1900. They wanted to make it all ancient leaders. So I was thinking, what would it have been like if we must have Winston Churchill's DNA? Or
Serpentor would have been drunk 24/7.
Right.
And not too fond of his wearing his armor.
Yeah. He'd be doing his best work noon at 2 a.m. Much to the horror of Cobra's troops.
well, the show might have lasted a couple more seasons if that had been the case.
Troopers, we shall go forward together.
Well, this I command.
Pass me another highball.
Oh, God.
And with that, thanks everyone for watching, listening, and yo, Joe!
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.